thought is, the first time we had snow and the first time it was really winter out here, I was walking this path and everything was ice and snow and it was so beautiful. And I think now it's kind of like when you're at home and you put your little Solitudes music on, or when I used to play my Enya and just kind of get in this other world where you relax and kind of forget about life for a while. I feel like this little path is a piece of that out here because it's always beautiful. And I don't regret at all not putting our houses closer because I always like walking this piece. And I've never once thought, wow, that's too far between our houses. So it's kind of nice just to have a little nice walkway, I guess. Keep going, keep going.
It's early November, and like most years on the prairies, winter has already settled in for a long stay. It's time to park the wagon, because the wheels just aren't working well in the snow. The pioneers have been looking for a sleigh, and the search has taken Tim to the Smith farm, a few kilometers south of the homestead.
Ian, what would be the chance of this,
breaking?
Yeah.
Slim to nil.
Huh?
Slim to nil.
It's got a bolt here. How about if we were to put
Ian Smith has agreed to rent an antique that's been in pieces for decades. Ian and Tim are putting it together to see if it will work.
Nope. Go bigger.
Bigger?
Yep. Oh my God! Two guys.
My foot.
Yeah. Oh, the thing is, we were told two guys could do it, but it's way too heavy for two guys. I don't know how we'll ever get her back on.
Just slide it off now.
Oh, it's hitting there.
The box turns out to be heavier than anyone imagined. Other neighbors are recruited to help with the lifting. And everyone is wondering whether it's going to work with the sleigh.
Just about. There.
Nothing to it.
Here, Arnie. Here you go, a little bit. Look at that. And it fits perfectly, absolutely perfectly. Like it was totally made for this sleigh back in however many 100 years ago or something.
Original Christmas bells. Original brass bells, hard to find.
When the work's done, Ian has a surprise for Tim.
They're antiques, all right. Each little bell has a different sound.
These bells will play an anthem for old times, a symphony of brass and hooves and leather. But for the pioneers, the sleigh is anything but sentimental. It will be an important tool for the 5 months of winter that lie ahead. You'll find old sleighs like this in barns and back pastures everywhere on the prairies, tucked away not because they're needed, but because they carry so many fine memories.
Oh, this is really nice. This smooth, quiet. I can hear myself talk. In the wagon, you can't hear anything. As soon as the wheels start to go, it's like a dream. I can't explain it. It is really a beautiful, peaceful feeling. See what Deanna's reaction to the bells. Sound like Christmas?
Ever cool! We just take walks and look in the trees. Frank said when he saw that one, he kept looking and he saw all kinds of...
At this time of the night, yeah. Yeah, this is the time of the night. I'm gonna get my glasses.
Here, make sure you put your glasses on.
Yeah, I know.
What's happening?
The partridge. Come. Yeah, that's what she's supposed to do. Sit. Come on. Here.
Good doggy.
Rado, come. Thank
Get
you.
the blood away from me.
Here, let's see.
Good shot.
What is it?
Partridge. Come on, Lana, this is your job.
No way. Raw meat, I keep away. Oh, nice. big
Yeah.
top hanging there.
Yeah, there's the breast too. It's still hot.
I was coming out to the well and I saw partridge sitting up in the tree. They're really obvious now all of a sudden, now that we have a lot of snow and there's no grass, there's no leaves. So I called Deanna and she brought her gun out and blew it out of the tree.
Look at that. See, boys, I can do it. My boys. There we go. We'll clean her all up. We can make a whole meal out of one of these.
Yeah, that was delicious.
Yeah, we got rice.
How many do we have now?
5. Great. Hey, we did it without those guys.
Let's go deer hunting.
Yeah.
Everywhere now on the homestead, there's a Christmas card scene to enjoy. It makes it easy to forget this is a working farm. And while most of the labors of summer are finished, with winter, there's new work to do and old debts to settle.
Okay, this summer we had one of the neighbors come over with his mower. It was a horse-drawn mower, period appropriate. And we had him mow our hay for us so that we could rake it and put it into haystacks. And in turn for that, we bartered that we would come back to his property and clear out all of the deadfalls that are in the area so that he could eventually make it into pasture land as he has over here on the other side. So the neighbors are happy, we're happy.
While just about everyone else in Canada is moving inside, pioneering is continuing in the great outdoors. There's no choice. Every passing week inches them closer to the bitter depths of winter. In the outside world, heating fuel is brought to your house by a high-tech pipeline. Here, staying warm is a matter of making your woodpile grow every day. It helps to be young and newly married to your sawmate.
We do this so Frank can get his waist in shape.
See, when I landed, it's just...
It also helps to be older and still in love with your sawmate. But being older means it hurts a little more by the end of the day. And in the back of your mind, there's always the worry that your partner will wear out before the woodpile is ready.
This is Frank's latest obsession. He plays warrior log cutter. I came out and found him here. So watch him, he's a freak. He does a little thing and see how many he can get. Oh, honey, you man, you. Look at that. Things are getting a little boring out here. The old reliable wood block just doesn't cut it anymore.
There's more going on than warrior log cutting. Tim has bagged a deer. Now Frank is determined to get one too. They need the meat. But dusk is coming early these days, and the deer have retreated into the bush. It's become a test of their tracking skills.
We've just been following the tracks. There's lots of tracks I found in here. We got a bed here. One was laying down, probably last night. Up ahead here where I'm gonna sit, there's a whole bunch of trails that all come together, and they're pretty frequently used. You just gotta be careful because on the other side there's regular rifle hunters over there, so just like to stay enough in the bush to stop any stray bullets. Well, tonight I went out hunting and I went to a spot I've never been before. Just before dark, a doe came out, and I got ready, right about to shoot at it, and the buck stepped out. This huge buck. So I waited until it got within range, and it was a perfect shot. I set up my gun, I fired, and it just went click. The cap didn't go off, the buck took off, the doe took off. I didn't get either. So it really pissed me off. It makes you, you know, think of when you go home, you want to use every modern convenience you can that makes life easier, in a way. Like, especially when something comes to hunting or something like that. It makes you kind of pissed off you don't get to use the technology other people get to use.
Well, I was just walking back from deer tracking with Frank and Deanna, and I noticed my husband's been thinking about me. It's pretty sad.
Kilometers per hour. High -26. Extreme wind chill near 2200 with hazardous frostbite conditions. For tonight, mainly clear. Low -35. Very high wind chills near 2100. For Monday.
A little chilly.
It was a cold night last night.
Yeah, it was a chilly night for them too. Nice in the cabins though, really nice. We only stoked up once. We tried an experiment last night with the wood stove. We were told if we piled the ashes and the coals right all over on top of the wood, when we put them in, just pack it right in, that it drives the heat down in your stove. It doesn't let it go up the chimney. And I think it worked, because it was really nice.
Yeah, it got a little cool this morning, but we hadn't stocked up for about 5 hours, I guess, eh?
Yeah.
So it was really cold when we got up this morning,
7
but
hours, actually.
it's warming up in there now.
The wind was fine. Yesterday we worked inside all day on the horse shelter, and we pretty well froze all day because of the wind. The minute we'd step out of the wind, out of the trees, we'd just freeze. So we nearly had frostbite and everything yesterday, but we warmed up, so we're okay.
We were lucky because a lot of it was in the trees. We found out this weekend, and less people were just teasing us, but I don't think they were. They said Farmer's Almanac is wrong for the first time in I don't know how many years, or admitting they're wrong, and predicting the coldest winter in how long?
26 years or something. They've actually like redone their schedule for the winter, and they now said it's going to be the coldest, not the warmest winter.
So normally we'd cry about something like that, but we just started laughing because that's just something we would expect out here.
You know, they said there's probably average temperatures of -45.
So this whole thing is like just a weather challenge. That's what this year is all
one big
about.
extreme to the next. So what are you doing?
We realized that down below the bottom of the house here, where there's the floorboards meet the outside, cold air's been getting in, and you can see the light from the inside at night. So I'm just stuffing little bits of moss. It's kind of hard to get at in here, just to plug it up, and it should help a lot. And it should keep the floor from getting so cold too. You'll notice that I just put a tarp down under the bed. I nailed it down, and I thought that will stop some drafts from coming from under the bed. It's really cold under there all the time. Our fridge, I pulled some beets out, and they're frozen. So I cut up a wool blanket and put a couple layers on the bottom of the fridge and one in the back wall. You can see along the back wall here all the ice that's starting to form. This is the corner that's far away from the stove.
We were contemplating even putting wool blankets, lining the entire inside of our cabin with wool blankets to stop the drafts. And we might do that if
Well, probably just around the bed. We're thinking...
Yeah, because we get a lot of cold air like back here, and our pillows freeze. Like last night, you'd turn your head and you'd touch a part of your pillow, and you'd just freeze. So,
Oh, it was so cold. If you had a spot, you didn't want to leave it.
yeah. So
But see, that's why the toque was nice. I didn't get cold ears. I just pull it down further.
This is the Belmore Elementary School. These are some of the students that I take to school every day. Part of them.
How are you doing? Are you getting to be very skinny?
Hey, that's where I started when I came here.
You are skinnier.
Yeah,
But you're probably healthier. Are you?
Yeah, I'm really healthy.
It's wonderful. Just about this.
The homestead is closed to the general public, but for one morning, it's open to these special visitors, because a part of this is a part of them.
how was it?
That was weird.
These school kids all live just north of the homestead, but for most, This is as close as they will ever come to the life lived by their great-great-grandparents in the 19th century.
You without your horse? Like for hauling? Ran not too far, maybe from here to the well. I love my horses, so I kiss them to get them going. You don't believe it?
Oh.
Now, you don't believe that? Let's see you kiss them. I love
It was very good. It was like, it wasn't what we expected.
Yeah, this is cool.
What did you think about these guys?
Hard workers.
What's their lifetime experience?
Good point. And it was cool. It was, now I know that it's really hard.
Behind the scenes, there's trouble. Tim never complains, but today he says he's sick. In fact, he says it feels like someone is kneeling on his chest. Early the next morning, Dr. Tim McDowell arrives.
Hello?
He works in the emergency room of Winnipeg's Grace Hospital. At the production company's request, he's dropped everything to take a look at Tim Treadway. A search of the bush leads him to the pioneers. They're celebrating. Frank has just shot a deer.
We think there's something wrong with it. Could you please maybe give us a diagnosis? It's not moving.
So you got one?
A long wait for this one?
Yeah, I've been hunting forever, I think.
August 25th?
August 25th.
Or something like that.
Well, at least it's worth all the cold nights all the cold times we spent sitting in a blind, freezing. Well, Deanna and I ended up walking almost to the same area, and we started giving each other hand signals of where each other should go. Yeah, Deanna was giving me this finger, and so I knew I was supposed to go in the other direction. And then she pointed to one that she thought there was one there, and it ran through the bush. And as it came through the bush, it stopped just inside the trees, and I shot. So I was really surprised I got it. So it was good.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Full-fledged hunter.
There we go.
We eat this winter.
Mom, I won't starve now. Don't have to worry anymore.
Well, we were going to just continue on
Yeah.
hunt.
Prop this one up and go do another one.
You better see the doctor.
I got the doctor here, so I'll just have him follow me along.
When he collapses, you can do something then.
I wasn't feeling good at all. I went to bed about 5 o'clock our time, and I just had this real, like someone was kneeling on my chest, and I didn't know if I had fever or if well, I knew I had a fever, and then chills, and you just don't know whether you're supposed to be warm or cold, and it wasn't pain, it was just a pressure.
It's a slow walk back to the homestead. Tim has to stop and rest. He can no longer hide just how sick he's feeling, and with each pause, Dr. McDowell becomes more and more concerned.
Get me before I die.
How far could you walk without stopping?
50 feet, something
What
like
does
that.
it feel like?
Just winded. I know right now I'm feeling sweaty, and I shouldn't be. I mean, with the cold wind, and I'm not dressed overly warm. I've just got a little bit on. Now, what would happen if we waited for, say, a week? I just kind of rested around the cabin, and
I don't want to predict what would happen. The reluctant patient. There's enough concerns I have from what's been going on that I don't think it's necessarily just from an infection. And I think we should get you checked out in the hospital today. and hopefully it's just an infection that we can clear up with some antibiotics. But I think we need to check it out.
Well, it's quite an emotional thing to leave.
Okay, I understand.
And
the reality is, in the 1870s, people would get like this and they would die. That's not acceptable these days. As much as you guys want to be here and do this, I don't think it's worth dying for, or worth getting really, really sick for. I've got some concerns about one of the guys out here. He's been having some exertional chest pressure.
he said, I want you in today. He said there might be something more serious than's happening.
Can I go?
Nope, I don't want you to go. No, you're not coming. Bye-bye.
Yep.
It's hard.
Dr. Davis, telephone please. Dr. Davis, telephone please.
This feels so strange. I'm in a different world.
He's a pretty tough guy. I mean, was he giving you a rough time about coming out? I know it's not happy about that. I'm sure he'll be.
Not happy at all. He's been quite emotional about it, actually. But I think, as stoic as Tim is, the fact that he agreed to come without too much arm twisting, I think he really feels worse than he's letting on.
I don't know. So, what's the verdict?
Well, at this point in time, they had a little bleep on the EKG, so it didn't look too good, but they did another test, and I think it was just my muscles that were contracting because of my coughing and lungs. That's what I'm hoping. And then right now I'm just hoping that doctors will find nothing and they'll say, get out of here and go back to where it's healthier. Too many germs around here. And so they haven't found anything really definite yet, so hopefully they'll be able to send me home soon. I guess you can see why people would just, as homesteaders, they don't want to leave. Yeah, I'll die here, but I don't want to leave. That idea. I remember my grandfather, my actual grandfather, the story about him when he was about 45, and he was when he went to the hospital for the first time. He walked to the hospital, and he turned to his friend that walked him there, and he said, "You look after my family. I won't be coming back." And nobody knew that he was so sick, and he died. Yeah.
Well, he's going to the intensive care unit so that they can keep monitoring him overnight to make sure that nothing serious has happened, and that there's a possibility of a viral infection. I feel badly for him because I know this is not something he's going to be happy about at all. He will feel he's failed somehow, and of course he hasn't at all. And I know that's not something that he will feel good about at all.
Oh man, when he left, I think part of my heart left. I didn't realize. I mean, he might just be there a day or two, we don't know. But I've really come to realize how much these last few months have meant to both of us, how we've really bonded as a team, and it's a lonely night for me tonight to be here all by myself. And my goodness, it must have been really hard for people back then when somebody did get sick. And of course they didn't have hospitals like Tim was able to go to today, or medicines that we have. And anyhow, I don't know what the next few days will bring, but you can bet your boots I'll be praying for my husband tonight.
poor Deanna, she's just waiting right now. It's what, maybe 11 in the morning? And we're just waiting for news.
Really frustrating.
Yeah, she doesn't know anything. I mean, that's all she heard. I don't think her boys know what's going on yet. They were going to wait, maybe let them know today.
Find out when they know what's going on with him.
I mean, I feel terrible about it, and it's weird not knowing. I can't imagine how she feels right now about it. It's gotta be really tough. So, you know, I guess we just wait now and see what happens and hope he's okay. They said he was laughing and joking and kidding around yesterday, of course, and
I hope he's giving the nurses a hard time.
I'm sure he is, and we were bugging him saying, get a bed bath if you can, Tim. Eat all the jello you can. So.
I know we probably eat better than hospital food anyway, so.
Yeah, Deanna and I were saying, I bet you he'll miss our food, imagine that. He'll miss my scrambled eggs and pancakes.
So hopefully he gets better, and he gets back here soon. Back to the four of us again.
Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
Enjoy yourselves, eh?
Yeah, he's, well, what can I say? I phoned the doctor this morning. The doctor told me they haven't made a diagnosis yet.
What?
No. And they want to do 2 tests. And the 2 tests will keep him there till the middle of the week.
What kind of tests?
He didn't tell me what the tests are, but they're tests to make sure that there's no heart problem. He was not feeling well. He still had chest pains. But he was feeling a lot better, but he's still coughing. And,
So does he have a viral infection?
Well, that's the other thing. He may well have one, but that would not keep him away.
Right.
They haven't found out yet whether he has one or not. So these 2 tests are important, and if he doesn't get through them, then he would not be allowed to come back, period. So, because it would mean there was a heart problem. So.
Why couldn't he come back? Settlers had heart trouble?
Well, they wouldn't want him to, because they, you know, they would want to treat it, or he would have to do certain things to treat it. And the stressful environment here would not be good.
I can work. Milked the cow this morning. No way, we're not leaving.
That's what he said.
No, we're not. You can have that on camera. We're not leaving. I mean, this is hard. I mean, now I'm not only separated from my kids, now my husband. You kind of wonder what you're doing out here, but hopefully he'll be all right. And I'm sure he probably will be.
What about leaving?
Never. No, it's not in our minds. No, we committed ourselves for this, and no matter how hard it is, we'll stick it through. The settlers had to too, whether the people got sick or not, you know. Just because somebody's sick, you don't just throw in the whole towel. And I'm still strong, and we'll still be able to do what we have to do here. So no, not even thinking about it right now.
Tim has been in the hospital for 5 days, and the doctors are hinting that he may be too sick to come back. Frank and Alana are wondering whether they'll be left alone on the homestead again. They keep the Treadways wood stove going while the production company takes Deanna to the hospital. She wants to see Tim and get the story from the doctors firsthand.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it turns out that there's a problem there, he's got to be prepared to deal with that as well.
What do you mean by a problem?
If it turns out he's got some heart disease that may need attention.
And if it is heart disease, what does that mean?
Well, it depends on how severe it is, and what the cardiologist
It means
recommends.
blocked arteries.
Yeah, that would mean blocked arteries, and the question is how blocked. So we have 24 hours to find out.
Tomorrow, The doctors will test Tim's heart, and the Treadways will know whether their pioneering days are over. The heart specialists have examined Tim, and after 8 days in hospital, he finally has the answer he's been waiting for.
Well, let's get out of here.
Well, what a feeling, you know, when in the operating room, or the test room, deathly quiet. And then these doctors who'd been very professional, very sophisticated, just kind of let out a yell, "No blockages!" Yeah, let's get out of here then. I'm really, really excited about going back. I'm excited about going back with a clear bill of health in my heart. And it's just a matter of a little bit of time to get my lungs in shape, and I'll be in 100%. Home is where the heart is. And my heart is very much out in the homestead. And especially with my wife being there, and the rest of the team, Frank and Lana, and our life there.
The doctors say Tim's heart is fine. He has pericarditis, a virus that affects the lining around the heart.
It's good to be back.
Tim is home, but the doctors have warned him that he'll be too weak to hunt or do much work for a long time. The others will have to take up the slack.
Home sweet home.
What are you thinking there, Deanna? There's that question again.
Oh, it's just so good to have him back.
Perfect. 7 o'clock, eh? What time is it milking? So is it cold out?
Ooh, is it cold. Milk's warm. As you may notice, I'm milking on the left side of Daisy. We've been here 6 months now. Never realized that there was one side to milk on. The cows like the right side until the first movie was out and all the farmers told us. Before this, nobody ever told us that cows like the one side, but this dumb cow likes either side, doesn't matter. There's 4 of us milking her. We all do it differently.
All 4 sides.
All 4 sides. Boy, working for a dentist sure is a lot easier than this.
Now it's just a matter of rest and getting the body recuperated. This morning I went out to the barn, picked up the pitchfork and took 1 shovel of manure out to the manure pile and had to come back in. That was all the work I could do for this morning. So a lot of it, Deanna's going to have to do a lot of it. And I guess as a pioneer, it was a lot of hard work for the women, or the man, whichever. Had to carry the load of the spouse.
It's really cold this morning. It was about, when I got up the first thing this morning, it was about minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit, which I think is about minus 35 degrees Celsius. I think the temperature's gone up a little bit in the last hour. Yeah, as you can see, it's about minus 26 or something now. Our windows, as usual, are iced up, but right now they're, for some reason, they've got these really neat designs all over them.
It's like branches.
Yeah, it looks really neat.
Well, today we're getting ready to put the ceiling on.
It's mid-December, and the pioneers are stuck in a cold snap. Tim and Deanna are struggling to keep their cabin warm. They've purchased a tarp to lower the ceiling and trap the heat.
Well, I guess we ordered it the right size. Seems to fit. And it seems like our house is square because this is a square tarp. Way to go, guys.
So what are you doing here?
Well, I'm just going to build another wall like this right here, and then I'm going to put a door on the front, because we lose a lot of our heat. It got cold pretty quickly, actually. It was minus 35, I think, yesterday morning, so it went down pretty fast. But I don't know, I think we were all dreading the cold, but it's not as... We were dreading the minus 30 days coming, but it hasn't been that bad, so we've all been able to keep relatively warm. And we haven't been spending too much time outside, except for today I am, but we usually wear so many clothes anyway that we usually keep warm, so I've got, I don't know, 5 layers on underneath here, so I'm able to keep semi-warm. Have problems with fingers and toes though, keeping warm, but...
So how's milking going?
Good. She milked actually right good. Well, good. I was surprised. Is it so cold?
How have you guys been handling the weather?
Great. I walked to church yesterday morning. 36 below.
How far away is that?
2.5 miles.
So any concerns about the cow?
Well, we were, but no. The barn is real warm. It's not even cold in there. It's pretty good. I'll tell you. Oh boy, Jack, you should have told me you were coming. Figured nobody would see me this morning, except poor Daisy. I keep my fork inside here because the handle freezes and you can't flip the straws. Andrea, let's go see how the well is. Saturday night was cold. Our fire did go out. I hadn't stoked up the coals enough, and so the air wasn't coming through, so for about an hour and a half we didn't have a fire going. And you could see your breath. In fact, I looked at the bed, and the hot air was just rising out of the bed. Yes, I wondered yesterday morning when we opened the barn door if she'd still be alive, but she was fine. Now, the chickens aren't laying, but they're still alive. They're not dead. And they're doing fine. They're actually looking real good. There you go. Oh, they're pretty frosty. Oh, it's hard to get out of bed. I think you gotta go out in that cold. But, just your pails are frozen, you know, it's just that thing. But I haven't found it more difficult. You know what, to be honest, that didn't, no, because I love the winter. I actually love the cold. Tim and I are trappers. We have a trapper's cabin way up in the bush, and actually I love it. I really do. I prefer the winter, really. I know it sounds crazy, but as long as I'm warm, as I'm going outside, I'm fine. I love it.
It's what I thought it would be, and it's actually minus 30 is more bearable than I thought, because we put all our layers on, and it's not so bad. No, it's more just, I think it's more the psychological part, if boredom really hits, or if we get stir crazy. We just have to make ourselves go out and do stuff.
Or we fight with the neighbors.
Yeah. We fight with the Joneses.
Here's Alana trying to get the last minute Christmas gifts done. I've made a total mess here, making boxes. But it's hard to work outside, it's kind of too cold for the fingers.
Well, it's the night before Christmas Eve, and my wonderful husband is doing my laundry for me. I've been wearing my long johns, I think, for 5 days in a row, and I wanted them clean for tomorrow. And of course, I'm trying to finish last minute Christmas stuff, so Frank's doing the laundry. What a guy. What a butt. Oh, honey. What dandruff.
Got them done?
Honey, they're beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
So
we've stitched the envelopes together. You want to show them?
Yeah, we did them kind of different. And then I'm not as fancy, so I just kind of wrote.
Pressed leaves in the fall. And
Where's
we've
my,
got rose hips here,
yes.
so we made candles. And then we've got homemade soap. It took several hours to make. And we've got a pot holder each. Ta-da!
It's funny though, we said we hit the Christmas rush out here though. Like last night we were up late and the last few days we were panicking to get this stuff done. We thought, oh my goodness, it's a settler basket rush. We should have started earlier. That was weird.
Does it mean more when you do it yourself, or is that just a myth?
Oh, I think so.
Oh, it does. I mean, if we'd have gone out and bought a bouquet of flowers for these folks, it wouldn't have meant as much to us. I hope that it will mean something to them.
You'd have to
If it
ask
doesn't, they
them,
can give
but-
it back to us because we like them.
Yeah.
Come on, the real Scotsman will be wearing a kilt today.
The arrival of some neighbors completes this pioneer Christmas Eve.
I'm Alana.
Hi, I'm Bob. How are you?
They've brought the Scottish traditions of the Argyll district to the homestead.
Door closed here. Kyle.
Kyle?
Yes, sir.
Frank.
Bob?
Nice to meet you.
Look at that. Oh. Now why?
I got something first.
Now why is that?
It's part of a saying called Lang may your limerick, which means long may your chimney smoke, meaning good luck. In other words, good life in the upcoming year.
Do you guys want some wine first?
Got any
Maybe-
scotch? We've actually got some here.
Yeah, we've got some other stuff for you too.
I'll leave it right there if anyone's
Take a
interested.
wee dram.
You guys have some.
Wow.
What do you do? Just drink her straight from there?
Absolutely, if you want to.
Straight? Go ahead, Deanna. Give her a try.
Hey, Deanna, go.
Oh yeah, Deanna. All I have to do is smell it. I'm sure.
It's a miniature.
Come on, a real Scotsman, would that be no problem at all?
I gotta walk to the truck and drive home.
Cheers. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
And Lang may your limerick.
No,
Frank, it's your turn.
As the afternoon wears on, the years fall away. More and more it becomes Christmas as it was. The merriment, handmade and heartfelt.
She waltzes a lot better than I waltz, eh? I do too many stupid things when I waltz.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was fun.
Thank you for the dance.
Oh, thank you.
I'll save you one in
Oh,
February.
what do I get? What do I get? ABC?
I'll give you a.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah, my boys asked.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you for coming.
It was nice to meet you.
Absolutely.
All right, see you again. All right, see ya.
The pioneers want to drop off a few gifts for their closest neighbors. It's become a Christmas for the old-timers, a Christmas they'll talk about in years to come. Day after day of bitter cold, they'll say. The coldest December in 120 years.
I didn't get to hug you goodbye. I hugged everybody else. Oh, well, Merry Christmas. No, 9, you can't go. Come here. Come on, 8. You can't go.
Hey, you guys are tough.
Hey, guys. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. 9, stay here.
They need lots of credit for what they've done, boy. You know it hasn't been this cold and this much snow for so many years.
This early
You
in the
guys had to
season.
pick the worst year and pick the year with a rain.
Last year, the year before, we never had snow like this at Christmas. The fields were still black.
It has become a fitting end to a year in which Mother Nature has played every practical joke she knows. A year to remember. The old-timers say true pioneers are tough. It was that way in the beginning, and it's still that way.
Merry
Next time on Pioneer Quest, winter wears on. The pioneers find ways to spend the long, dark nights. And more, the outside world begins to feel like it's just around the corner.
We know leaving is coming up. We know we've kind of done a lot of the pioneer stuff here. And so that's what's hard. Once in a while we feel guilty and think we got to get more in the pioneer mindset, and we can't because we're thinking of leaving.
Join us for the final episodes of Pioneer Quest, a year in the real West.
So what do you get for Christmas?
Look at my little Christmas present. Smokey the kitty. Isn't she the cutest thing you've ever seen? Frank went and got her this morning from the neighbor's house. I was dying for this kitty and he wouldn't let me have it. And, oh, she's still shaking because Frank had her in the cold. She's so cute. I can't believe he got her for me. It's the best present I could ask for. Well, we named the kitty. It's not Smokey, it's Kai. And Frank just made her this new cat toy. He tied a acorn? Oh, what is that? Pine cone. Acorn. He tied a pine cone up on her basket and she loves it. Well, did I have a good night tonight? Today I boiled 6 pots of snow to wash my hair in. Oh, I feel glorious. I feel like $1,000,000. Cold sores? Doesn't matter. Look at my hair. It's better than organic shampoo.